Okay. Looks like everything is up and running. So we should be good to go here. Okay. Well, welcome everyone to Friday night. Sorry, I'm a little behind here, like a couple hours or whatever. But good reason. There's just so much to investigate with gifted weapons and things, and we will kind of get into this here. So we're here at home base, and the one of the most complicated discussions in all of Vane is when you put an Eos Chrome, these guys here, on any of your weapons or your blood veils. The description here says, I'll just go ahead and read it. A highly valuable mineral made from a special ore mixed with blood. Ask Murasame to use this to transform a weapon to greatly enhance its attack power. Doesn't give you any value. Or a blood veil doesn't give you any value. To greatly enhance its gift effectiveness, but at the cost of greatly reduced stat scaling. The funny thing is reduced stat scaling means it's non-existent. It literally deletes it from the game. And that is the strange part about this, because
Hey Owen, been a while.
Hey Emerald, how are you? And so the strange part about this is that since you don't have stat scaling at all, like it's completely gone, how can gifted weapons and veils actually make up for the lack of scaling? Well, the interesting part about that is that at level 1 of a character, right now we are on the level 300 character, a level 1 character doesn't really have scaling. Their scaling values are pretty much on the same level as, you know, really low level weapons. And because these values here of the stat scaling require your actual character level to factor into the multipliers, being a level 1, there is no real interesting amount of scaling that you can possibly get. However, when we start to use a gifted weapon, things can go very high at level 1. However, at max level, because the level increased so much, 299 levels, that the increase of stat scaling is worth more than the gifted version. So if you're a high level, then gifting is not the right way to go. If you are very low level, then gifting is absolutely the way to go. So that's all well and good, but how does it work? How can you predict what values and what multipliers you're going to get when you use a gifted weapon? Because stat scaling, it's kind of basic in a sense. I still haven't worked out the exact formula, but it's just literally whatever the multiplier is of the buff, you just multiply them all up, and then you come out with a value on the end, and then you have a scaling multiplier that you multiply everything against, and it's all increasing. However, with gifted weapons, it's actually a decreasing multiplier to not allow you to get out of hand with the values. So what I mean by that is, let's look at our weapon here for right now. And we'll just go with this Queenslayer right here for now. And we'll go with Adrenaline. So if we look at the gifted weapon here, it's at a 90. We know that Adrenaline is a 10% multiplier. So if I use Adrenaline, I should have 10% more on my gifted weapon. In fact, I have 13. So how do you get 13 from the 90? So let me go here to our notepad, and so then we have to solve the equation of, you know, some value we'll call it V for some value, times, 90 times some multiplier equals 103, because we added 13. So this is times some multiplier. So this is kind of our equation, right? And so we can look at, what this equation actually tries to understand. Actually, this should just be a star. And so if you look at this 13, and if you just divide out, let's just assume right now that V is 1. That's a simple case to start for. So then our equation becomes 103 divided by 90 equals M. So we can find that multiplier of whatever it is, but we know that there's a 10% multiplier on adrenaline because of what we've done before in the past. So if we take 103 divided by 90, that tells me that M equals, if you just do the multiplication and the division, 1.14444444444 repeating, right? So we can just put an ellipsis here. So because we look at that and we say, well, do we really believe that it's a 4.4 increase multiplier to the 10%? Well, we can start to do a little bit more investigation with some other multipliers, and we come to find out that this has a direction towards 1.15, which that means then that our equation up here in the top, that M actually, or that this parentheses right here, this parentheses becomes 90 times 1 plus 0.1 times 3 halves. So this then becomes our, this becomes then this parentheses right here. So then we have, so if we check that, so we have 90 times 1.15 essentially, and that equals 103. So our assumption here at the beginning that this V multiplier actually was 1, because this equals, or times 1 equals 103. So our V assumption here of being 1 was correct at the beginning, because we came out with the same multiplier, because we knew that if the 1.1 multiplier for adrenaline had to be within the M multiplier, then we know that we did it correctly. Okay, so that tells us that everything should be multiplied by this 3 halves to the multiplier that it actually is part of. So if we use adrenaline or overdrive, we would change this to 0.25, and then we would do the math equation all over again. So let's go back here and let's check overdrive and see if our equation actually holds. So if we do the math here and we do 90 times our 1 plus 0.25 times 3 halves, we should come up with 124 about, or so, somewhere around there. So we do this and we come up with 123. Okay, 123. So it rounded down. So the equation works, the method works, right?
Hey, Owen.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing, Marcus? And so now that we've proved, now that we can prove that that each gift adding to a gifted weapon will have its multiplier that we know of, like 0.25 for overdrive, 0.1 for adrenaline, 0.2 for offensive order. This is a 2 times multiplier. Then we have Jack and Louie, which are 2 times and 1.5 times multipliers. We have Final Journey, which is a 1.5 times multiplier. So if we start bringing some of these in here, now here's where things start to kind of go off the rails for gifted weapons. So if we keep with our example here, let's make the window here just a bit longer, or a bit taller. So we now have this V multiplier that we still don't know what it is, but we just assume that because vain is vain, nothing is as it seems. So we have 90 times, let's do our adrenaline multiplier, 0.1 times 3 halves. So that's that one. And then we should just do a straight up 1 plus 0.25 times 3 halves. And this should be what our, let me move this over a little bit. This should be just simply what our multiplier is in the end, right? And this should just, let me bring this over so we can see equals. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 3. And so that should be what our value is. And so if we do that one, we say 90 times 1.15 times 1 plus 0.25 times 3 halves. And we should be looking at around a 142, right? And so we're at 90. So if I do these two, I should be at 142. In fact, I'm at 140. Now you might think, well, Owen, that's actually just a rounding error, right? And so there, that seems like, well, yeah, we could just do a rounding on this. It should be 140, but this is not equal to 140. So 142 is not equal to 140, right? So now if we look at whatever this V multiplier is, and we add in Final Journey here, so we'll do adrenaline here, and then we'll do 1.375, and then we should just be times 1 plus 0.5 for Final Journey, because it's a 50% increase times 3 halves. And that should equal, let's see here, times 1.75. That should be 249, right? And we still don't know what this V is yet over here at the left side. So that's what we should come up with, 249 on the dot, almost. So let's see what our value comes out to be. And our value comes out to be 233. Now, hang on a second. That is way more than a rounding error, right? And so the question starts to become, actually, as you can see here, we're at 233. That is not 249. And we said we should get 249 if our formula actually is correct. So something happens when you start to compound different gifts, and you can watch this as you start to apply different gifts. They actually start to reduce the amount of value that each one gives. So if you see here 90, then we should, get our 37.5%, and we sure get that. And then we should get our 15%, but we don't get that. We get something a little bit less. And then we should get our 75% here, and we don't get that, and we get a little bit less, like starting to be significantly less. Now it's 16 value below what our estimated calculated value should be. So now...
Hey, Owen. Hi.
Hey, Lost Prism. Good to see you. And so now the question is, well, what if we add in, like, sword masteries, right? That's a 20% multiplier. That now with the 50% increase, we should be at a 30% increase, right? And that indeed is the case, because 90 times 1.3 is 117 on the dot. This is on the nose. But then we start adding in all of these, right? And we should be starting to get the exact values as they multiply through. However, you start to notice that there will be a divergence from what you are calculating and the number that Vane is actually getting you. Well, so how does this look then when you put it all together? Let me see if I can bring up the spreadsheet here. So when you do all of them through, is this which one? This one. Here we go. So when you start to do it through, oops, you'll notice that if we change our weapon base to 90 to match the type here, and we pick adrenaline, we pick overdrive, and we pick final journey, just these three being active. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me zoom in here a little bit. There, that might be a little better. So if we pick from our crazy binary table here, our truth table, that's essentially what we are finding here in Vane, is that gifted weapons operate from a truth table. And then we notice that there's a multiplier of 0.9362, and so this number is a multiplier that is in the front, that is this V over here that we couldn't find before. But when you empirically go through each of these multiplier setups and everything, you can find this V value from because it's an unknown, and it doesn't actually scale with any kind of regularity or anything. And so that's the strange thing about this, is that there's this crazy multiplier table. So if I show you the whole table, it is a 2 to the n truth table of how many buffs you actually have. So right now we have 8 buffs. So this is a 2 to the 8th truth table, and you can see for all of these gifts and their combinations, we have all of these buffs here in the reductive multiplier column. And you can see that there are just crazy amounts of these. So we can check this against any multiplication set that we come up with in Vane here, and then we can use these reductive multipliers to actually come up with, whoops, hang on, I'm getting confused here with which window is active and which one's not, so sorry about that. But you can see all of these reductive multipliers here correspond to each of the gifts, which ones are active and which ones are not active. And then when you come up with whatever gifts you want to be using, you throw this reductive multiplier in, and then all of a sudden all of your formulas work. So this is really strange, because I've been trying to find what this reductive multiplier actually is developed from and how, and it doesn't seem to have any rhyme or reason to it, because when you put all of the values here, it's a shotgun spread of you have this reduction curve here as you go down, and as soon as you pick, like this one here is a set of values as you add on more and more gifted more gift buffs to your weapon. And so this is really interesting, that it's not like a single curve, but because it's a family of equations here that you have to follow in order to actually find which value you want to use. And so if we go back to the damage equations here, and we pick up, let's just pick a weapon value. We'll say we have an 858 weapon, and then we want to use Final Journey, and we want to use
Hey, Owen.
Overdrive.
Alright, my revenants, what's up?
Hey guys, and we don't want to use Mastery, or we do want to use Mastery, but we don't want to use Offensive Order, and we want to use Louis, Jack, and Flashing Fang. So if sorry, we don't want to use Offensive Order. Yeah, we want to blank that one out. And so if we look at this, we see we have two options here of using a Overdrive, Final Journey, Gift Mastery, or One-Handed Sword or Two-Handed Sword Mastery, whatever, and then Louis, Jack, and Fang. And so then we have two values that we can come up with, and then we can use these values here, these two values, out of the truth table to then do the additions and multiplications, which are really easy for like Bridge to Glory or element values. And we can come over to the boss values, and then we can go through each of their resistances for each different damage type and each element that they have, and then we can look at how much HP they have at the different star levels, and then we can pick one out and say, oh, at at 3-star on the Virginborn, I need at least 103,350 damage in order to kill the Virginborn. And so then I would look here at the damage values, and I would say, okay, so since there's a 0 in the first slot, that means there's no damage reduction on the head, so I don't need Merciless Reaper for this kill. And then I probably would not use any kind of element, and so no element, and just go with straight up damage. And so then I would just calculate, okay, I need 103,350. I would come back here and I'd do my multiplications, and I would see if this could get me 103,350. And then I would know that at level 1, my character would then be able to do a one-shot on the Virginborn with a weapon that had an 858, which was this guy. And what do I need for this? I need a willpower of B. So let's just do this. So here's an 858, and so if I use those gifts that we initially looked at there, and we would need Flashing Fang, and then we would bring Louis and Jack, and then we would be able to get all of this to that higher level that we were just looking at on the spreadsheet, and then we would be able to correctly identify exactly what value exactly we are going to pick off from each of these damage values. So it is wild that there is a crazy reductive multiplier, that V that we were talking about earlier in the formula, that actually goes down as you continue to stack up the number of buffs that you have active. So each buff in and of itself, you can check each one of them that they all follow the regular gifted value of 50% increase to the multiplier itself. So like if it's a 50% multiplier, then it goes to a 75% multiplier. If it's a 2 times multiplier, it goes to a 150% multiplier, or 1.5 multiplier. And so it's interesting that these go that direction, but then as soon as you start stacking them on top of each other, the reductive multiplier takes over, and then you continue to have a divergence from what you're calculating to what the game is actually outputting. So if we go and look at...
Hey Owen, gonna lurk in here, driving so won't talk.
Oh, you're driving. Oh boy. Be safe. I hope you're going somewhere fun, and have a wonderful night or morning or whatever you are doing. Okay, So let's see here. We are...
Keep your eyes open, all right?
Okay. Thanks, Jack. So if we look at the... I'm gonna have to move some windows around here.
Good and ready.
I sure will, Louis. Okay, so let's look at this guy now. And let's bring him back over here. Bring this one over here. Sorry, there's a lot of windows moving around. Okay, so let's go look at max difficulty for the Queen's Knight Reborn. He is at 110,900. So if we look at our value here, so we've got some multiplier times 858 times all of the multipliers stacked up, and we need that to equal 110,900, right? That's our goal. That's what we're working towards. So if we go to our spreadsheet here, and this one, and we go to the damage equations, and we get rid of all of these filters on the truth table, we know we're gonna have, well, we know we're gonna have Louis, we know we're gonna have Fang, and we know we're gonna have Jack. So we look at the truth table here, we know we're gonna have Final Journey, and we pick off here what's the highest damage value that this column here has. Well, it's 17,814. So that is what goes in this spot then, in the blue. So we know that this would be 17,814. So we don't even have to play the game anymore. We can just say this is going to happen. And we know our reductive multiplier over here, V. We see that one. We see that one is 0.5273. So we can use that as 0.5273. We can truncate that a little bit. And so we can put that value in here from the truth table. And then we have the question is, we're going to multiply this by 5 because that is a steadfast strike for a two-handed sword. That's a 5 times multiplier. So now let's just check what our value is at. 0.5273 times 17814 times 5. So that's at 46,966. So we know we're quite a ways away. Now, okay, so we go back to our spreadsheet. We say, okay, well, what is he weak to? Well, the Queen's Knight Reborn, he has a 0% reduction in lightning and a 0% reduction in ice. So we know we can use ice and lightning, which means that we multiply by 1 plus 0.2 plus 0.2, 20% for each element. So we multiply by 1.4. That brings us to 65,753. And so we say, okay, well, what if we were quick mobility with swift destruction? So we would add a multiplier in here of 1.2. So we'd multiply by 1.2. That brings us to 78,903. And then we say, well, we're still missing a little bit of damage. So what if we add a cartridge to each of ice and lightning? So that would be a 5% increase to those. So that would be then 1.5. We'll go back. And that brings us to 84,539. Or 84,540. So then we have to think, well, how else can we increase something, right? Well, if we go back to our spreadsheet, we have to use so hang on. Before we go back to the spreadsheet, let's go to the game. And so we were saying that we were going to use Steadfast Strike. We were going to use Adrenaline, Overdrive, Bridge to Glory, Jack Louie, our Louis and Jack, and then Flashing Fang. And so we need a strength and willpower up for both
Hey,
of
Owen.
these.
Finally caught alive. Calcs in this game are as headache-inducing as the ones in DS3.
Are they really? Oh, that's not good. So now we have a predicament here. We said we were going to use lightning and ice together, and we've run out of spots here in our active gifts. So that's a problem, right? And we said we were going to use Swift Destruction, and we have one passive gift slot left, which we have to use Rush of Blood in order to get us up over that 30 mark, and then we can drop it down a little later. So now we have a problem. Oh, and we need a maybe need a mobility enhancer here. So now we have a problem. We notice that we aren't really getting to that high level. We're at like 80,000 or so, and this is a problem because we still can't quite get there, right? And so now the question is, well, what if I use a weapon with a higher damage value? Well, what could that weapon be, right? So you'd have to get a gifted chrome on every single weapon through the game, and the one with the highest base value is the Lost Zweihander. So if we go back to our if we go back to the spreadsheet and the notepad, then we would be able to punch into the into the spreadsheet here. We would punch in 870 for our new value, and that takes us to 1863 here, 18,063. So we go back to our value here. Now we know this one goes to 1863. Same reductive multiplier because it's the same gifts, and this we know we can't get 0.05. So this is our elements, this is our swift destruction, this is our damage multiplier, and then we have this combination inside here. So let's look at what that gets us. 0.5273 times 1863 times 5 times 1.2 times 1.3, and that gets us to 74,292. So that's still not quite there. So since all of these 5 times and all of these values are outside of this parentheses here, if we add in something in here to make our damage increase, we can use Survival Instinct, which would be 250. So if we can add that in, that will bring us to 75,000. So that only added roughly that added roughly 1,000 damage about. So it's not a crazy amount of damage because this reductive multiplier here is really tanking our damage output. So that's where a lot of this problem comes from with gifted weapons. And so this is now way less than 110,900. So we're not quite at the point here where we can one-shot the Queen's Knight Reborn. But what happens if we take this number here and we reduce it a little bit, and we notice that we can put a 0.2 over here if we get rid of adrenaline. So let's go back to the spreadsheet and we look at something without adrenaline, and we look at no offensive order, And so this is our value now, 17,182. So if we put that back in here, because we picked it off the sheet, 17,182. Now if you go back and look at the sheet, you'll notice that the multiplier is larger. So we can go 0.5768. So our value decreased, but our multiplier, our reductive multiplier increased. So 5768. Whoops. 5768. Okay, so we picked that off the truth table.
Owen. Gonna go get groceries now. Stay safe, y'all.
Oh.
P.S. to Jack Rutherford. I wish to lock you in a cage match with Frozen Empress and repeatedly revive you.
Jack, he's an interesting fella. So, okay, now if we take this through and we look at 0.5768 times 17,182 plus 250 times 5 times 1.2 times 1.5, that brings us to 90,492. So that gets us way closer because we got rid of adrenaline, and we got rid of we got rid of adrenaline and we changed it out with lightning. And so we have ice and lightning, and we have these two here, and we can get rid of this once we use it, and we can bring in survival instinct. And so there's this is like the strange, crazy way that you can go about building out your character here to see exactly how much damage you're going to get. So let's go ahead and see how this operates and see how close to that 90,000.
Damn. Adrenaline really is a stone in the player's shoe.
It can be. Other times, you know, if the enemy has a element defense, then you would use adrenaline over over an element. So it has its place, but it's very, very rare, and not that often that it's going to do that. So let's see. We are able to do this now, so let's go ahead and try it, and we'll see how close we get to that 90,492. Okay, and remember, this is max difficulty here, so we will have to keep that in mind. Okay, and then we'll do this. Okay, we'll do Jack. Okay, 8. This. Okay, and now we do a little bit of manipulation here. Oh, I did it wrong. Yeah, oops. I did that wrong. We should have done the other the other gift first. Hang on. I will get it right. Everything has to be done in order. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And so we'll with the amount of health you have. So let's try it again. Okay. And I need this.
Don't give in so easily.
Okay, I won't, Jack. Don't you worry. Okay, so we're looking for 90,493 about. Keep that in mind. Okay, and now we go this, and then we're good. And then we do this.
Stay focused.
And that killed him. Why? Oh. Oh, sorry. And Mm, did I miss something?
We don't have time to stand around.
Okay, Jack. Hmm. I feel like I missed something here. Just like randomly just really missed something. Hang on. Did I pick the right thing? I'm even confusing myself because this is so crazy in-depth complicated. Was I looking at the right thing here? Slash.
Hey Owen. We counted weapon proficiency or consumables.
Yeah. Did we have Louis' overdrive active? I didn't pay attention to see if that was active because there was so much going on. Yeah, so... oh, and we forgot the 10% reduction of his, slash resistance. So that should have taken us even lower. Final Journey, Overdrive. Hang on. So... Okay, well, let's look at that, and we'll find out exactly where we went wrong. Because the value that we should have gotten... Whoops, I didn't want to do that. The value we should have gotten was our 17,182. So let's see if Louis... No, Louis didn't do anything. Okay, let's go through these.
I hope we can discover something.
So 17,182 plus 375 is what we should have. And then we go through these and we grab this. So we are at, yeah, 17,557. Yeah, that's correct. And then Swift Destruction. And then Swift Destruction. Yeah, this one's counted, and then these are... We're normal, we're quick mobility right now, so I don't even need a mobility enhancer. And then these two... I feel like we got extra damage somehow that we shouldn't have gotten. Let's try that again and see why, because we shouldn't be over his value there. Let's try this again. So we picked the value exactly correct. 17182 plus the 375 of survival instinct. But for some reason something else went awry. Okay, so we'll give this a shot here again. Yep, that's a one-shot. There was no damage from Jack. We did not have Louis' overdrive. And we had everything correct. And again, you might think, well, it's because you're level 300. But if you look at our weapon damage, it is all struck. So we are straight up just what we're doing here. So where... So let's 110900. There's like 35% amount of damage that's like unaccounted for here. That's the problem that we're having.
Hey Owen. Something messing with the enemy's defense values.
Yeah, it could be, but I mean that is the value we are pulling off of the values here. 17182, final journey, overdrive, gift or sword mastery, Louis, flashing fang, and Jack. 17182, and if you add that to survival instinct, which is 375, that's 17557, which is what we saw. That's exactly what we saw. 17557. And then, because there's nothing here that we're doing. Nothing here that we're doing that is like to his weakness, right? So, and this is all normal. Maybe he has, I mean, this is the damage value that he has at max health is 110,900. That's verified through 2 other sources. And slash lightning ice. That is intriguing. We should be way off of his damage value. We should be very, very, very close to killing him, but not quite. I feel like something... I missed one other thing here. But anyways, if we... if you actually look at... Like, if we go to home base... it's interesting how you can pick off of that truth table and you can put the multipliers together, and then you can attack and here at home base without the defenses and everything, and you can check all of these as they come together. So if we ignore so if we go back to the spreadsheet and we don't get
Hey Owen,
Louis and Jack.
something multiplying instead of adding in our calcs.
I don't think so, because we're doing everything exactly per what the values come out to be. So if we look at what we have here, we're going to use these 4, 5, 6, 7 buffs. This is what we should use. This is what we can use, and we can then see exactly the value that we'll get. So if we use Overdrive, Final Journey, Flashing Fang, and we get enough value here, and we get down low enough, we should be at 0.798574 times 870, or wait, times 5437 plus 375 times 1.2 times 5. So we should strike the bag with 27,848 or so. See, and there's an extra 10,000 in there. That seems a little odd. So let's try that again. And we'll get rid of Swift Destruction. That was... So we're at 2876. And then if we add Flashing Fang, we should be at 5437 plus 375.
Multi-step DMG on the attacking skill itself.
So you think the skill has a higher multiplier? So let's see here. 870. 4350. I mean, that's a 5 times multiplier. And if we do Sword Mastery, so 1131, that's 5655. There it is. And then we'll do Adrenaline, or Overdrive, and Two-Handed Sword Mastery.
Hey Owen, that or a sweet spot mechanic?
A sweet spot mechanic? So if we do Overdrive and Two-Handed Sword Mastery, we should be at 2012 times 5. Is that right? Yeah, 2012. And what am I looking at? Oh, not Final Journey. What am I doing? Overdrive and Two-Handed Sword Mastery is 1522. It is. 1522 times 5 is 7610. Yeah, okay. So it's a little bit of a rounder there. And then if we add in Final Journey, we should be at 2500. And 2500 times 5, 2501, that's 12,500. Yep, so again, it's a 5 times multiplier, so it it doesn't change anything. So 2697 if we do Flashing Fang and Sword Mastery, 2697, yes. And 2697 times 5 is 13485. Yeah. So all the values they check out. So if we do this one, Final Journey, Overdrive, Mastery, and Flashing Fang, that should be 5437. There we go. And 5437 times 5 is 27185. Yeah, so we're right on track here. So why then did the Queen's Knight Reborn have such low health? That is a mystery. Okay, well, for now,
Hey Owen. So the only thing that we're not sure about is the low HP passive.
No, this one we know exactly. This we know that it gives us a 375 additive. Here, I'll show you. And it doesn't change. Oops. Like it's never different. It's always 375. So you see here our scaling is 0. And it will go to 375, and it will always be at 375. And it's an additive to whatever value you come up with here from the spreadsheet. So if you do even two-handed sword mastery here, you're gonna have 375 plus whatever this one is, 261, and then this is just added on. So 261 and 375, yeah, 636. So it's always additive, and you can never make it anything not additive. And it boosts our gifts here, but we're not using anything like that. So even our gifts here will get boosted the same amount either way, with Final Journey or without. And so yeah, we're adding 795 from Final Journey and Survival Instinct. So the only thing I can think of is maybe I have his health wrong, and maybe that's the case. Not exactly sure. Let's go check on Eva here, because her at max difficulty is very high HP, around like 154,000. Okay. It is locked, Louis. So we will check on her HP and see if we have a better time guessing her health value, because it shouldn't be that crazy of a change here. And with her, it is wildly crazy how much HP you have to chew through. It's like in the 150,000 range. Oops. And so it's incredibly difficult to one-shot her at any point in time, no matter what you're doing or how you're doing it. So we'll give this a check here, but the interest... whoops.
Guessing is the right word. We are just throwing stuff to see what sticks, lol.
Yeah, most of the time that's how you have to try Vayne. It's a very empirical game. There's not really anything like super whoops, there's not anything that's like super obvious or recorded in any appreciable kind of way. So what we have to do to try and figure everything out is just try it over and over and over and over until you find the best fit curve, essentially, that works for whatever we're doing. So that's what this is here. Okay, so let's set ourselves up for success here, and we'll get ourselves in business. This one's going to be Louis and Jack, and now see, this is the part where, you know, adrenaline or bridge to glory will come into play at this point. So let's go back over here to the spreadsheet, and let's look at our 870, and let's clear all of the filters here. And so then we go over to the successor of the throat. At max health, she's going to have 154,400 HP. So we'll have to look for that. She's got no resistance to ice, so we'll go for ice. And then she's got a 10% reduction on slash in phase 1. So we've got a 90% multiplier that we've got to tangle with. So then we come over here and we look, well, first of all, we've got to solve her health equation here. 154, what was it? 154, 400. 400 has got to be greater than the value that we pick off of the spreadsheet, whatever our multiplier is going to be, our reductive multiplier. So if we go all the way down to the bottom for as much damage as we can possibly find, we're going to have an 1863, 18,063. And so that's no offensive order. So that's going to give us 0.5273 times 18,063 plus the 375 from survival instinct times 5 for steadfast strike times 1.2.
Hello, Tilda.
Hello. Times 1.2 for swift destruction, and then times 1.25 for ice, because she doesn't have any resistance to ice, times 0.9 for her slash resistance.
If you hit the calcs spot on with Eva, it means that the issue is Queen's Knight Reborn himself.
Right. That's exactly what I'm hoping we can discover here. Okay, so 65,626. That should be our value. I feel like it's going to be higher than that. I don't know why, but I feel like that's going to be higher than that. So, 65,626.
Hello, Owen. Been a fan of your vids ever since I found you through Andy. I'm very glad and impressed for you to see just how much you have devotion to this game.
Well, thanks. It's quite an enjoyable endeavor for me to engage with the game at these levels and see exactly what's going on. So I'm glad you guys are interested in this as well. So let's these are the gifts that we said we're bringing, and remember 65,626 is our number that we should be hitting, but I feel like it's going to be higher than that, so we'll see here. exactly what goes on.
Hey Owen. So question goes, will you ever make your own wiki once you actually solve all that this game has to offer?
That's a good idea.
We'll see about that. Okay, we gotta go this way.
That looks like a tough customer.
It
Hey, Owen.
does, Jack.
Wish there were people as passionate as you are about Bane in other games. Lol.
I'm sure there are. I'm sure somebody's out there that is super excited about something else. Okay, and then we'll switch, get this one.
Now heal.
I've got this, Jack, thanks. Okay, and now this and 6. I feel like we're gonna be way above. Whoops, that's not. Nope. I got trigger happy. I got super trigger happy. Oh man, let me try that again. Okay. So, whoops. And now I'm getting crazy happy here. Okay. Louis, come back. And this. Now remember, this is all mimicking level 1 damage values and stuff. So, if you are indeed level 1, this is stuff you can do as well. Absolutely crazy that these are level 1 values of damage.
Precocious, aren't we?
Yes, absolutely. I don't know. I don't know why. Okay, Jack, come on. So the crazy part about this is that you have to do all of this menuing and everything like in order to make it all happen in a timely manner. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. Okay. Yes. Yeah, we went way over damage cap. We're definitely missing something. Almost feels like there's a 2 times multiplier or something somewhere.
What's
Hey
up?
Owen.
You notice something?
Very much agree. People like Owen just have this different level of passion that some don't fully appreciate or realize how many hours are burnt into, and in just in big ore.
Oh. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I just found it. Okay, let me bring the notepad back. I'm kind of dumb. Okay, so this multiplier here, sorry, is baked into this value here. I apologize. So let's go back the past like 25 minutes, 30 minutes. This number
Hey
here,
Owen. A 2x multiplier somewhere. Where?
it's my stupidity, Lucerin. That's where the 2 times multiplier is. So that multiplier, let me show you. That multiplier of the spreadsheet here is where, where's my, let me get my
Owen.
windows up here.
Wildest goose chase ever.
Yeah, I'm so dumb. Because if I just look at the formula here in the this here, then I would have realized that it's, you know, this one. So the calculated value times the multiplier gives you your damage output. I'm such an idiot. So let me walk through this again. So 154,000 has to be greater than 1863, and that has the ghost multiplier, the reductive multiplier, built into it. And so that's this value here, this 1863. So we pick that off the spreadsheet. Then we have our survival instinct built in. Then we have, what is this? Steadfast strike. Then we have the swift destruction. Then we have ice and the cartridge built in. And we have the 90% reduction. So this should be equaling 124, 457 damage that we should have put out. And then if you noticed at the end, we did about 27-ish thousand, plus about 27,000 at the end. And that brings us to, I mean, it was around there, 28,000, something like that. And that's roughly around 151, 457. So that's roughly around that value.
Whenever you giggle, my cat meows at the phone. LMAO.
Hello, kitty. And so that's about the value. So, okay, let's go back to the Queen's Knight Reborn. Now that I can, holy cow, I can't believe I missed this. So if we go back to the Queen's Knight Reborn and we delete our value here on the notepad. So we had 110,900 has to be greater than some value that we're going to pull off the chart, plus the 375 times 5 times swift destruction times 1.5 times 0.9. So now the problem is to solve this equation for x, right? So now it becomes 110,900 divided by 5 times 1.2 times 1.5 times 0.9, and then minus 375 needs to be, greater than x. And so that equals then, so since I don't do math live, I don't do real math live, I bring out my TI-89 titanium and I say solve x plus 375 times 5 times 1.2 times 1.5 times 0.9 equals 110,900 with respect to x. So this then tells me that I need a greater value. X needs to be greater than 13,316.358. Okay, so that's the value we are looking for. So then we go back to the spreadsheet and we say, where is that value in here? I need a greater than 13,300. So here's one, right here, 13,659. But let's try the 13,189. Okay, so let's go up here, deselect all. Let's do the 13,189 and the 13,659. So this one tells me that I need offensive order on my person, and I don't need final journey, and I don't need adrenaline. So I can pick any blood code that gets me overdrive, sword mastery, defensive order, or offensive order, Louis, Jack, and Flashing Fang. So that's almost there, but I need 200 more, or about 150 added to this one. So since this next value down tells me that I can use Final Journey, Sword Mastery, Louis, Jack, and Fang, and then all the elements, then that tells me that that's my build right there. It just told me that I can guarantee that I will win against the Queen's Knight Reborn with those 5 gifts and elements. So let me show you here what that means. So we need Final Journey. So now I'm back on track. Holy cow, I got mixed and wrapped around the axle there looking for that multiplier.
Hey Owen. Ishtar time.
That's right. Ishtar is one of the... It is like the very next step down from Final Journey. So if you don't have Queenslayer, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you don't have Final Journey, then you go for Ishtar, and then it becomes pretty awesome that you can do that.
Locked in.
What? Locked in? What? Locked in? Oh yeah, now we're locked in. now that I have an idea of what's going on. Okay, so we need ice. We need sword mastery. We need Louis, Jack, and Flashing Fang. Swift destruction, ice, and we don't need overdrive, and we need lightning. Okay.
Hey Owen. Also, gotta love that Elseway has D+ requirements. Not hard to have on any code.
That's right. That is right. I mean, this is absolutely crazy that this thing you can get on anywhere. And there's also a secret hidden weapon here that almost nobody ever uses, and it's the Lost Broadsword. This thing has the highest one-handed sword base value, so if you're looking for those Severing Abyss awesome one-handed kills with level 1, this is your sword of choice. So we'll go over that here in a little bit. So as we're judging here, this is the weapon set that will win us the strike here versus this guy. So I don't even have to like change anything else out. Okay, so let's prove it to ourselves that we can do math live. And so here we go. So Louis, Jack, and Fang, and then Mastery, Final Journey, and we should be, and the elements. So we should be good to go here. And Survival Instinct.
We should be fine. Hope you're ready.
Now the reason we're doing Survival Instinct is because at low level, Survival Instinct is really, really helpful. At max difficulty, it is pretty worthless. Okay, so this, and this, and then as soon as we change here, we get one more. There we go. And then this, and this. And it's a one-shot, so it's exactly what we predicted. Now, if we want to prove it to ourselves even further that we know exactly what we're doing, let's say we don't want to get a one-shot. Let's say we want to do something a little less damage so we can prove out the number, right? Let's just pick a number that we want to go for. Let's try and get as close to like 70,000.
Are there dex calcs for the swords? Or is their natural AR too low for one-shotting anything?
We don't have time to stand around.
Are there dex calcs for the swords? Yes. There are. We're covering right now just the gifted weapons because level 1 is always an awesome thing.
Gonna have some fun testing with L broadsword then. Been using Sunset for tranquil slice shenanigans.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the Sunset sword is pretty cool, but the Lost Broadsword is the one sword at low level for gifting that it makes it actually like worth picking up one and actually using it really, really well. What do we want to do? Let's say we want to go for like 70,000 damage, right? Let's just pick that number and then we run it through our calculations here. And so now we change this number here and we want this to be as close to 70,000 or whatever as we want or as we can. And then where is the spreadsheet? Not that one. This one. Whoops. And then this one. So let's see here. If we solve that for the round the 70,000, let's put that back into the calculator here. And we need 8267. So this has to be 8267, around that value. So let's look in here for where is 8267, and we'll find the number that's closest to it. So 8373. That's the value that we come up with, and we can do Louis and Jack, Sword Mastery, Overdrive, and Final Journey, and the elements, and Swift Destruction, and what is that? Survival Instinct. So we can do Louis or Jack, and we don't need the other things. So let's turn this off and let's go back to our gifts here. So we are going to need let's just do Jack. We need Jack and Louis. Whoops. So Jack and Louis, no Flashing Fang, the elements, Overdrive. So we need Overdrive, and then the elements. So where this will be, so 8373. So we'll see what that yields. 8373 plus 375 times 5 times 1.2 times 1.5 times 0.9. So 70,859. That's our number. 70859. 70859. There we go. And we should get it right on the money, as close as the money will take us. 70859. 70859. Remember that. 70859. Whoa. We're going the wrong way here. 70859. 70859. You can't make me forget it. Okay. And we need this to be Survival Instinct, elements, and then we trick the game, and then we do this. 70859. And Jack's gonna mess me up. 71198. And Jack got some damage off, unfortunately. So we're right on. We're like exact numbers we're actually able to hit now, which is absolutely wild that these reductive multipliers are in the game this way. So like for this one, we had a 70% reduction in our calculated value to the 8373 that we are given. And so that's why it's so difficult to find out about gifted weapons and veils, because of these crazy reduction multipliers that are happening. So then in the testing as well, then there is also the veil multipliers. So if you notice, we've been using the gifted Ivory Grace, and these are the reductive multipliers that come along. And then so if we just pick some random value, like let's say we have a veil of 1200 or something, then you could get up to a 7296 potentially, if you had the ability to do that, with Dark Impulse, Eva, Dark Shout, and Final Journey. This is only interesting for dark values because light values can't go this high, but there's up to a 78% reductive multiplier for veils when they're gifted. So don't mix this sideways with scaling, like strength, dex, mind, and willpower scaling when you actually are using a scaled weapon, or a scaled veil. These are only for gifted values. So if you are interested in,
Hey, Owen,
gift values,
the
this
honey
is
spreadsheets.
yeah, that's right. Eventually this will all be up for everyone to use, but right now it's just like a scratch pad for me to actually work through. But eventually it'll come. So gifted veils, they do the same exact thing, because these, we should be getting, a top value here of 5,000 dark, but we only end up with 4,000 in the game. So it's weird that as we continue to stack up the multipliers, the game continues to reduce and reduce and reduce the effectiveness of each of those multipliers. So over here in the weapon values, you'll notice that the strongest reduction multiplier is 52.73% right here. So let's look at all of those reductions. So there's only one that gets you to that level, and I don't have a reliable way to get offensive order on Queenslayer, because you have to get focused, use offensive order, and then do everything else. So it's like way too complicated to actually get it. So I don't have the reductive multiplier that if I was to use offensive order, I'd have to like jailbreak the game or something to try and get it added here. But that's something, for another time, if I'm really, really, really crazy. So if we go back to the Lost Broadsword at 507, we can look at what its highest damage value is, 10,526. So if we look at that one, 10,526.
Hey, Owen. So that's why the fourth mastery only gave 1.2-ish multiplier. That makes sense.
That's right, because of this reductive multiplier here, you're just continually diverging yourself from the actual value. So you can see here that our calculated value, if we took all the real values of each of these multipliers of Adrenaline, Overdrive, Mastery, Louis, Jack, Flashing Fang, all these things, and we multiplied them up, we should come up with around 20,000. But instead, the game actually gives us an output of 10,000. So it's like, well, why am I getting cheated out of this extra, 10,000 here? So 10,526.
I thought there was a devil trigger, like mod that let you store a field focus mode for when you'd like it.
Field focus mode? I don't know what any of that means. What does that mean? A devil trigger like mod? What is that? So here with this 10,526, we can then start to go down the rabbit hole here with these bosses at level 1, and if we're on like if we're at no star at 72,600 for the Skull King, and we look at the Skull King's damage, he's got 10% slash resistance in phase 1.
In DMC, you store your powered up mode.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I've never played Devil May Cry. Sorry. I don't know anything about it. So if we look at that, and we want to see 72,600.
He's never played DMC.
Sorry. Yep. I play Code Vein, and this is what makes me excited. Sorry. So if we look at the Skull King, and we look at what he has, so 70,200 72,600. That's what we need. And we're going to have Severing Abyss and Swift Destruction. We won't have any elements. And he's got 10% reduction. And this needs to be some value. So we're looking at this now. So 72,600 divided by 5 times 1.2 times 0.9 minus 375. And that tells me that I need 13,000. So I already know that I can't one-shot him with the Lost Broadsword at level 1. But the thing is that in here, because we can tweak his defenses, we can put in Reaper here, which we haven't talked about that yet. And that would be times 0.1 times 0.75. So that would be his defenses reduced then. So let's put that in. So that tells me then that I need 12,035. So that tells me right there that we are about 2,000 away from being able to one-shot this guy, which is really unfortunate. So at level 1, you can't do it with a one-handed sword at 0 star unless you go in with Louis, and he gives you his overdrive, because that would be 25% or 37.5% increase to the 10,000 plus some reductive multiplier. So you'd be probably down to about 50%. So if we look at what that 10,000 would sort of magically multiply out to, we can make a guess. So 10,526 times let's see, well no, we want to do 19,962 times 1.375 times 0.5. So that would get us up to about 12 or 13,000. So we could one shot the Skull King if we are able to get Louis' value added into this when he gives you overdrive. So you would have to do things in backwards order from what I've been doing, where I do Louis first and then Jack. And so then you would do Jack first and then Louis to make sure that you get Louis' overdrive, and then you'd be able to one-shot the Skull King at level 1 with the Lost Broadsword. So let's see if we can go chase that with what we know now. So let's look at the gifts. We need Adrenaline, Overdrive, Mastery, Louis, Jack, and Fang, and then we need Louis' Overdrive, and then we should be good to go. So let's see. Do I have a level 1 character who has the Skull King available? That is the question. I might have a different character. Well, we have Charlene, and we have... I think Charlene hasn't started over yet. I think she has just been at the very end, so we can go check if the Skull King is there. Let's see. Good. The Jail of the Stagnant Blood is here, so we'll see if we can find a Lost Broadsword. We'll grab all the buffs. I don't know if I have all the buffs. Oh, it's the Virginborn. That's not what I wanted. I wonder if we have someone who can actually load up the Skull King. Let's see about this one. Even though we're level 300, we might be able to... oh, this one's max difficulty. Even though there's no stars. That's what happens when you save a game. It removes the stars, but it keeps the difficulty the same level. Hmm. I wonder if the human bomb has it. We'll have to check. Chloe. Yeah, I don't know if we'll have a level 1 character at the Skull King. But it's a cool little exercise to try and understand you know, what is available to you, in what form things are available to you, because then once you understand, hey, I can do this with this amount of damage. Ah, the Virginborn's here too. Okay, well,
Let's go.
okay, Jack. Well, the Virginborn has 61,000, so we can try for the level 1 on here. So this is truly a level 1 character.
Hey Owen, if only magic could capitalize on gift infusion. Oof.
Yeah, that would
Hey,
be
Owen.
nice.
How are you gonna make the Skull King stand still in the first place? Lol.
Well, you just make sure that you get there before he moves, and then you hit him. So it's pretty straightforward if you can get him to not move. Because when he first spawns in, he's not really moving, so it's all okay. Okay, let's see here about the Virginborn. So 61,000, that should be pretty easy to strike if we can get everything lined up here. So swift destruction. Oh, we don't have our weapons here. So we have a lost broadsword. So let's head to home base. So this will be interesting. If we can hit the head, then we'll be able to win. If we don't hit the head,
Hey
we're
Owen,
gonna have some serious
you
problems.
pray that he doesn't backstab. Face orange biting nails.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're exactly right. Let's transform our weapon. Yeah, typically he's not that problematic, but Severing Abyss is kind of hard to land. So that's the problem. Okay, what do we'll give
Hey
her
Owen. Hello everyone.
uh 9. Okay, there we go. Hey Donkey Plays, good to see you. So let's see about getting this gifted. So we'll gift one. Okay, and then we need the base all the way up. The ace of base here. Okay. And all the way up to plus 10. And that should give us 507. Which then we can check. Oh, I need another tungsten. Oh no. What are we at though? 482? So that'll be 25 more. Let's see if that's enough. If I have to go 482. So we're still over 10,000 with 482. So we'll keep this one for now. And I only have 4 ichor, which that gives me 24. So we need a blend. We only have 1. Oh boy. And I don't have any other ichor increase. 24 is not enough, so we only get 1 shot at this. Great. I guess we could
I hope I'm short still.
okay, Eva. How many? We have 21. Okay, so we could go get a few. We could get a few blood blends, I guess.
Whoever this
We'll take one. We'll take one more.
boss of the
We'll take one more in the event that we don't get it the first time. So 10,000. We should be pretty straightforward here on our damage, because if we hit the head, we will be completely fine. If we don't hit the head, we're gonna have some problems. So we'll keep Jack first. This will be a little bit odd. So severing abyss, good. And we are going to need adrenaline, overdrive, final journey, Louis, Jack. I just need something this, sure.
Don't have time to stand around.
Okay, Jack. And then flashing fang. And then that's all well and good. So now we can add
Owen.
Reaper.
Did you figure out the mystery behind Luceren's 38k damage yesterday? I'm okay Blintaro from Discord.
No, I haven't figured it out yet. But it has something to do with like changing the way that you load passives. I'm not exactly sure how he does it, but he does. Let's see, Severing Abyss is 6 iCore, so we're only gonna have 4, but we get this one. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's give it a shot. Oh man. We are running out of time here.
It's good to be with you.
Okay, Louis. Now this is gonna be... Okay, good. Louis gave us that. Good. And now Severing Abyss, go. Oh boy, we're dead. that was absolutely awful. I just YOLO'd it and absolutely whiffed the whole thing. But the amount of damage that we did was just the little explosion part. That wasn't even the sword connecting with the face. Ugh, and that is how difficult these things become when it's like, yeah, you know exactly what you need to do. And we only have one more blood blend, so this is not looking good.
Hey Owen. Rip.
Yeah, that was totally a whiff, a rip. Nice try. Come again tomorrow. Don't ever try that again. Okay. And blood blend and final journey. Okay, and hopefully so it is indeed a one-shot. There you go, level 1 Lost Broadsword, one shot, and it destroys the Virgin Floor. I'm so glad we got that. So, that is how you can actually check the way your damage should be on any one point given in time, and you can actually now calculate and find at level 1 on your first playthrough exactly what buffs you have, what buffs you need, and what you need to be going for in order to...
GG. Hey Owen. Goddamn, the queen loves to twerk around at combat starts. Hey Owen. GG. Hey Owen. GG.
Yep. Thank you guys. Absolutely GG, because I mean level 1 shot through science. That is that's so amazing that that level 1 has that much power built into it that you can just walk into the absolute end game with any kind of character here, and you pick up the Lost Broadsword, and that wasn't even the plus 10 yet. We still have 25 more damage that we can put on here into the base, which then multiplies out to like another 600 damage or so, plus all the reductions and everything. So we're able to take this even farther, which is why your first playthrough now should be pretty simple to actually calculate what are all of the actual values for each boss and everything that you are going to be going up against. And we can use the spreadsheet now that just tells you
BTW. How many hits is Tranquil Slice? I thought it was 4.
it's 3, and you can see that it's 3 when you use it on a boss with a
Yourself safe out there.
status value, because it goes 1, 2, 3, and they actually like pop up with like a 1, 2, 3 strike. So here I'll show you,
Wait right there.
and count the ticks that come up on his health bar up there. Never mind. He just had to do the spin for whatever dumb reason. Now this, when you are doing a gifted run or a gifted weapon of some kind, don't get too discouraged about what the weapon is or whatever. Would you stop? Because the crazy thing is that at level 1, or the equivalent of level 1 at these levels here, I'm tired of him. He's not going to give it to me, so let's go to Miku, and you can actually start to take these gifted weapons.
Wonder. I just assumed it was 4 because it had 4 sounds that I assumed were hits. Ooh.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what it sounds
Is
like.
Tranquil Slice cast in a straight line or in the enemy's model?
See, 1, 2, 3, and it applied three attacks of status. 1, 2, 3. It goes 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. And you only hear it when you actually strike an enemy. And the best way to see that is with status effects, status debuffs, and you can see the 1, 2, 3. And here on the bag, you can even see there's like 3 instances of the numbers coming up, and it goes 1, 2, 3. So watch the numbers. 1, 2, 3. There was 3 numbers there. If you go back and watch it like frame by frame, you can see that. Let's see if I can like do some magic here with photo mode. There's 1, 2, or there was 3. The ching ching at the end are the last 2, and the first one is the big slash across. So, oh, jeez. But it's 3 hits. So if you are using Tranquil Slice and you're using some kind of status debuff, count on 3 strikes with that, and you should be fine. Okay, so that is how the gifted weapons go, and it doesn't cast it in a straight line. It casts it like at like a point in space, and if the enemy is not at that exact point in space, then it misses. So they can be in that point in space, or they can be not in that point in space, and you can miss them. And so when you're doing this, you can see that there's like a sweet spot of where that point in space is right here. It's not right next to you, and it's not like, you know, somewhere else. If you're locked on this, it's counted as a projectile. This projectile will be thrown forward, and it will then be attached to whatever enemy it is trying to go to. But if they go beyond, farther away than this, then it won't track them, so you'll miss. So if they're right up on you, it will track them, and it will attack them here, right in front of you. But this is the maximum range that you can do it, so that's kind of hard to find, that sweet spot range, but you can do it, and it's enjoyable when you can do that. So if we look at what gifted this does, so this can be a lot of fun as well, because this is also you know, one of those crazy things that you can use as a tranquil slice gifting projectile, and so you can go through these shenanigans here with the gifted weapons. And so let's just go see what that does to the butterfly here at max difficulty. Since I've not done this before, it's always fun to experiment and see what you can come up with. So this, and we'll use the Crimson Longsword, and we'll go for fire, overdrive, and fire. And we will put Flashing Fang won't really be that useful because it will only apply to the first. So we'll Merciless Reaper. So we'll go for Adrenaline. So we have those 3 attacks over each of the strikes. And what else can we add to the butterfly here? We can add.
Hey Owen.
There's nothing else really.
Gotcha. Now to figure out the optimal distribution of one-hand mastery and survival instinct for Heimdall Tranquil Slice build.
That's right. And since Heimdall is since one-handed, or since what is that? Sacrificial Edge is additive. It can add instead of multiply, so you don't need any of this crazy gifting stuff because it just adds straight up 1800 to your weapon damage. So it's pretty straightforward and simple. So here, there's nothing else really that we can add. We can add ranged impact because that is super valuable here. So that'll be a 75% increase for each of these. So this would be like the optimal kind of value here that we can add, and then we can bring in Louis second, so we get his overdrive as well. So here we go. Let's try this out and see how it and see how it goes, because we should be able to sort of one-shot her or get really, really close. It is it a solid start? Okay. No. Okay, and then we need fire here. Okay, and then we need this, and then this, and then we go Tranquil Slice. Where is it? Here we go. And then, where's my fire? Oh, I need 7. Oh. Well, this sucks. Well, that was quite a bit of damage.
Hey Owen. Wooden flashing fang for tranquil slice equal 4/3 hits, or a 33% increase.
That's right. It would only apply to the first strike. So that wasn't as much damage as I thought it would be, unfortunately. But that was still a pretty good amount of damage that came off there on that attack. But you can see that this is actively pushing you to what a level 1 character would or could do, which is pretty hilarious that something like this can be done at level 1, and you can pick up, you can pick up a Lost Broadsword for this now, because they all, since you've reduced and removed all of the scaling from the weapon, so they're all flat equals now, sort of, in a sense.
Hey Owen.
The cool thing is,
So it can replace adrenaline, which is a 15% increase.
sure, but adrenaline is a 15%. Yeah, well, yeah, it could. So there's 5420, right? And if you look at the Crimson Longsword, the Crimson Longsword is unusually high, but because we've reduced everything by, their respective values, no more scaling, the Lost Broadsword then even becomes the better one for this kind of damage overall. So it's absolutely crazy that you can do it this way. So if we put on Flashing Fang here, we'll add, well,
Hey Owen.
let's do this.
Oh wait, it'd actually be 4.53, which is 50% increase BC of gift.
So 5420. And 5420. So it doesn't do anything. Because it's not a physical gift. How's that for your brains? There you go. The more you know. And so that's why adrenaline is actually better. And there's your 6233. So that's why not all the time you go for. That's why all the time you don't go for physical gifts. You go for projectiles. That's why I was saying this counts as a projectile. It's like a bayonet. So you have to think about bayonet things.
Actual magic.
So if we look at all of these, whoops, and then we go for Final Journey, and then we go for Survival Instinct here. So 28,860 without Jack and Louis. So if we bring Jack and Louis back, that would be great. And this one we could probably go for Reaper would probably be better than the Fire. So let's go back to the Butterfly here, because then Reaper would be a 40% increase on our first attack, because it's a slashing projectile. which all of that just sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Okay, so let's try this here. And again, the order of these actually matter, so it's pretty tough to, once you get the build, the idea of getting the order.
The invisible projectile that eats the flashing fang.
That's right. That's exactly correct. Okay, here we go.
That's a solid start.
Is it a solid start? Okay, thanks.
Find an opening and heal.
No. Okay, I healed. There you go. Thank you, Louis. He gave me his flashing, or his overdrive, which is great. Okay, and then switch. Oh yeah, we don't have 7 iCore. Oh well. Okay, come on, come on, come on. No! See? She moved away and then we lost it. Ugh, that's so frustrating. Okay, I guess we could keep... Rush of Blood. There's no reason not to, I guess. So let's try that again. Why did she have to move away? That was so annoying and rude. Okay, so the cool thing is that once you understand like the value spread and what's kind of going on, you don't have to continuously use the spreadsheet. You can kind of get a real good feel and understanding of what's actually going on and what you need to focus on, and how the gifts interact with each other and stuff. It becomes a lot of fun to try and find these wacky abilities that, you know, do different things at different times. So there you go. That's a level 1 equivalent. That is what a level 1 equivalent would do. Which is why this is so much fun, that we can check these things at a level 1 equivalent, and that was, what was her health at max difficulty? 118,800, and we almost one-shot her. So we did about 110,000 or so in that flash with Tranquil Slice. So that's pretty. Oh, whoops! And we didn't even have one-handed sword mastery. Whoops.
Hey Owen.
Okay, let's try that again.
Actual Virgil judgment cut.
Is that another Devil May Cry thing? Your interests are lost on me. I am a wasted soul.
Wow.
Okay, let's check what that extra crazy amount of percentage would do for us here. Okay. And remember that Reaper is only helping us on the first strike, because it's eaten after the first strike. Okay, good. And this. Okay, now we have all the correct buffs applied. And remember, this is a level 1 equivalent. And she's gone. So that's that,
Hey Owen.
guys,
Yeah.
think about it.
Tranquil Slice is based on Virgil's technique called Judgment Cut, down to having 3 DMG ticks.
Oh, okay. Think about it, guys. This is a lost broadsword, level 1 equivalent damage. And we just one-shot 118,800 damage at a level 1 equivalent. So the game is kind of busted when you start messing around with gifted weapons, gifted excitement, gifted experiments, everything like that. It really goes off the rails very, very fast, very, very crazy in how these things actually operate. And our veil doesn't even matter. Like, we could go for just, you know, the alleviated version, just to have as much weight reduction as possible. And it's absolutely wild that that's the case. I mean, we could even try the pipe.
Game board.
That's right. That's exactly right. And you can do this with, you know, any other weapon, anything else. I mean, 435, but the Lost Broadsword is just the best for that. The Lost Zweihander, where are we here? Here it is. This is the best two-handed sword. Now, can you guys guess which one is the best halberd? I bet you're not going to believe it, but it is in fact the Sunset Halberd. So if you're looking for a halberd, the Sunset Halberd is your gifted expertise here. The best hammer that we have, I believe, is the Sunset Hammer because of the blood. So blood damage is valuable
Hey
here.
Owen. Sunset. Hey Owen.
That's right. Good job.
I thought you were gonna ask about the best three-handed sword.
The best
Hey,
three-handed
Owen.
sword.
I knew it.
Then you can argue that the Impulse Anchor is the best hammer, but the Sunset Hammer beats it out with blood. But if something has a blood resistance, then it is going to be
Owen.
the Impulse
Mentioned
Anchor.
it in your halberd tier list. Face green smiling.
Oh, shoot, I gave it away. And then your best halberd, or your best bayonet, is still going to be the Libertador. It is the best gifted, it is the best everything. So if you get a Libertador gifted and a Libertador intensified, those are the only two bayonets you need in the game to do either bayoneting or gifting. So those are the best items that you can use when you're going for physical damage type weapons. If you're going for the different gifts that apply, so the one shot gifts, if you guys don't know, are Steadfast Strike. They are Steadfast Strike and Severing Abyss. These are the two 5 times multipliers. However, I have a bone to pick with Shift because of how they did us dirty with these weapon gifts that multiply with our weapons. So watch this. This is really, 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 really frustrating. So if we come over here to our famous punching bag and we want to do Severing Abyss, and we take off all our gifts, we don't want to do anything here except 507 times 5, so that should be like 2500 or so, right? So Severing Abyss, 2600 with the extra 7, so plus the little damage thing on the ground. Now if I change that to the Libertador, you think, oh, I should get the same roughly 2500, right? And what do you notice? It's 1,000 less, roughly. So for whatever dumb, stupid
Hey,
reason...
Owen. Oh yay. Did you compare the gifted bayonet to gifted greatsword yet?
No, I haven't done that. But what you can see here is that if you're doing Severing Abyss with a bayonet, it's a 3 times multiplier, not a 5. So for whatever dumb reason, they've ruined bayonets in one-shot abilities with that. But instead, what they gave bayonets, they gave them Radiant Barrel. So that's like a 9 times multiplier.
Hey Owen. A little less damage. Face red droopy eyes.
Yeah, so for whatever reason, they did bayonets wrong in a lot of ways. So crazy the things you can do though with the Lost Broadsword. This is like one of the lowest requirement things in the game almost. A D plus on strength is almost every single blood code. There are a few, DLC stuff that you just can't use it on. But for most of the base game, I don't really know if there's there's a couple of D D blood codes out there, but there's not very many. Most everything is a D plus or higher, so you should be completely fine. But especially since you're going to be either going for Queenslayer for all the damage, or for Ishtar for all the damage. So that's the crazy part about going for gifted weapons and stuff, is that you can, I mean, it's kind of the same thing almost every time, but the cool thing is that you can mix and match and switch and swap things, like with Tranquil Slice or Severing Abyss or Steadfast Strike or some of these other ones. Like if you wanted to do like Chariot Rush with the halberds and go for some big pokey pierce damage, you can do that and just absolutely annihilate things, and that would be like your level 1 ability there. So the Sunset Halberd, and if we did Chariot Rush on that, we would pick up all the same kind of gifts here, and then we would run into the fight and just annihilate whatever we're going in up against. So
Hey Owen, is there difference only with bayonets, or are there cases with random damage buff or reduction with two-handed?
no, it's
Hey,
just with the two-hand,
Yeah,
or
you're
with the
going for a code with possible a strength for gift weapons anyways, so basically no requirements, lol.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, there's no other reductions on on other gifts and stuff. It's just for whatever reason Severing Abyss with with bayonets. It's the weirdest thing, but that's how Vayne be, that you can't I've said this I don't know how many times now, but you just can't assume anything in Vayne. You have to go test it, because things just happen and you come across stuff and you're like, why is it that way? And finding the answers is just painstakingly difficult. So but yeah, if you're going for a gifted weapon, these are not bad. These are probably the most overpowered broken thing for any low level anything. And then once you get over about level 100, the gifting kind of fades away and scaling takes over. And then from that point on, you don't go back to gifting. You stay with stat scaling.
RC hammers get more multipliers for one attack gift. I think it's called Swallow Cutter.
Swallow Cutter's a 1.8 multiplier, so let's check here. Okay, 209.
Hey Owen, there's a ton of SHT under the hood in this game. Reminds me of the original Dragon's Dogma.
Oh yeah? So 523 divided by 209. Oh, okay. So there you go. 2.5 times for a hammer, and 1.8 times for a 1.8 for a greatsword. So yeah, I guess there are others. I haven't checked all of them, but that was the one that I came across. So 1.8 times 8 what was it? 802. 802 times 1.8 is 1444. Yeah, so it's an 80% multiplier for two-handed swords, and a 2.5 times multiplier for hammers. The more you know. But why would you ever use that other than just a regular adventuring gift? Because the charge attacks on hammers are like 2.4, 2.5, 2.6 multipliers anyways. So something like that. Yeah, so I will be checking these. I will be putting all of these in the spreadsheet for each and every item as they come along. But
Hey Owen,
pretty weird.
such a weird game.
Yeah, and that's why I like it so much, because it has such a wild thing to it that you
Hey Owen,
try and understand
if
everything.
only Swallow Cutter was better, lol.
That's right. So this brings me to kind of the pièce de résistance here for gifted weapons, is how can we possibly make the Hammer of Thraldom, the concrete block, actually useful or good? So as you see here, it has a base value of 186. So let's go to our spreadsheet here. Where is the spreadsheet? There we go. And let me make it smaller here and fit it on the
Hey
screen.
Owen, maybe it's a misclick on the devs, since the technique is called Tsubame Geishi, and that's a sword technique historically.
And so they just figured that hammers were gimped, and so they gave them some little bit extra. Who knows? You very well could be right on that. So if we head over to our damage equations and we put 189 in the multiplier here, let's see what our highest damage value is in the truth table. Let's scroll all the way down. Whoops. Come on. So our highest value is 3929. So let's scroll all the way down and see if we can see that. 3924. And what did it say it was? 3924, yeah. So this is our highest damage here. So 3924. And if we bring up our
Hey Owen, I could see that actually. No reason why hammers get the bonus damage.
yeah, but who knows? Okay, so 3924. That is our value. So let's delete these. So 3924 plus 375 for survival instinct times 5 for steadfast strike times 1.2 for swift destruction. Let's say that we use ice, and let's say we go for the let's try an easy one for the executioner. So we can do a couple of things here. So crush, she'll have 0 resistance on our first attack. If we go for ice, and we can assume that, and so we'll assume ice, and so this here, let's see. Yeah, this is what we would assume. So 3924 plus 375 times 5.
Yay, you need flat multipliers like survival instinct and bridge of glory for the big damages.
Yeah, when you start getting into the stat scaling, that's when bridge to glory really takes over. So this only yields us 32,243 rounded. So that's like as much damage as you can possibly do with this thing. Now, if we got rid of adrenaline, and let's go back over here. So if we don't want adrenaline, no adrenaline. So then 3733 is our number that we pick off of the spreadsheet here. 3733. And that means we can add one more element. So then this would be times this 3733. So that'd be 36,972. So that's like as high as you can possibly go. Maybe you could add maybe you could add 2 more cartridges to bring that to 1.6, which gets you 39,437. And then that's about, yeah, that's like as high as you can possibly go. So it almost can't even break 40,000. So the concrete block just really is trash. It like no matter what you do, no matter what you build or try or think about or whatever, like it just can't perform. Like it is just absolutely ridiculous how awful the concrete block truly, 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 truly is. So now, when you start getting into actual stat scaling, I've gotten to a point where I can do with the Wrathful Balmung, because of the scaling values that take over, I can do upwards of about 275,000 damage or so. Let me check that number, because it's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's about 200. It's like almost 300,000 damage, or 275, 280,000, something like that.
Is there a reason why the halberd dropped by the Argent Berserker is so much better than the rest of the halberds?
Well, that depends. Hang
It
on.
really needs the 4x survival instinct, yay. Owen. I mean, besides weighing as much as a house.
Well, the thing is with the Obliterator Axe, if you use a gifted version, the 570 on it is, well, you would go up 30 more damage to 600, and that is not as good as the Sunset Halberd. So if you're going for gifted, don't use the Obliterator Axe, go for the Sunset Halberd. Do I have more tungsten? I do, because we killed the Queen's Knight Reborn a little bit, so I can upgrade a few things here. But the Obliterator Axe is really, really good when you are doing scaling stuff. So it's not a level 1 weapon, it's a max level weapon, which is kind of wild to think about. So Impaler, I need one of these. The Black Halberd is actually really good for gifting. The Obliterator Axe. So you can see here that the Obliterator Axe is at 600. The Sunset Halberd's at 684. The Sunset Halberd dwarfs it. And the Argent Wolf Poleaxe is even much better than the Obliterator Axe. But it's when the scaling kicks in that this thing just goes off the hinges here, and it becomes incredibly good. Yeah, I need this one upgraded. I need this one upgraded. I need a lot of things upgraded to max level here, because I just don't have everything yet, and I need it. But the Obliterator Axe is really, 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 really good when you are using it as a just regular weapon and you're doing scaling. If you're doing gifting, definitely go for the Sunset Halberd. It will serve you way better, which is crazy that the Sunset and the Lost weapons are actually really incredible if you can get your hands on them early game, because most of the time you can, and then you can gift them pretty early with EO, and then you can have like some of the most overpowered end game weapons at the very beginning of the game, which is absolutely bonkers.
I thought it was good, more because its halberd peers aren't that great.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true too. But there are some really, really good ones. But the problem with this Obliterator Axe is that it does slash only. So that's definitely a minus against it, because you can't do any pierce. And these are the few weapons in the game that can actually do pierce reliably, on demand, consistently. Especially the Black Halberd. This is like the king of pierce, as well as the Cerulean Spear and the Impaler. These three are like just really, really good piercing weapons, and if you're going for some kind of pierce, those are the ones that you would want to go for. So okay, so that's the showcase of how the game has put these ghost multipliers into Vayne, and it's all about these it's all about these reductive multipliers that you have to try and find to because of how the calculations work. This truth table here, you're not shown these reductions anywhere, and there's no way that you can understand that until, because this crazy family of reductions, this crazy family of gifting, and it matters which ones you have with whatever one you don't have.
Louis Communal, +4 availability, two-hand mastery, and gift chrome all after Oliver. Hey Owen.
Yeah, that's right.
Owen twin overdrive.
Yeah, so if you get a sunset halberd like first thing in the game somewhere, and you chrome it with EO early on, like your level one damage will be just absolutely mind-blowing. So if we put this weapon base up to 684, and we scroll down to our damage, we'll be at 13,509 pretty much right away. And if we clear that, and we can even go higher, 14,201. I mean, this is like, you know, one-shot territory for every single boss in the rest of the game. So as soon as you get to Queen's Knight, and you get Final Journey after him, you'll be able to just annihilate everything. But up until then, you'll have Adrenaline Overdrive. Halberd Mastery is from Dark Knight, so you won't have that. So you would have, well, let's see what you would have. You wouldn't have Final Journey, so let's go for a blank there. You would not have Halberd Mastery, let's go for a blank there. You wouldn't have, well, you might have Offensive Order, maybe. We'll go for a blank there. So the things you will have is Adrenaline Overdrive, some elements, and then Louis, Fang, and Jack after the Queen's Knight. So if we go and we remove Jack as well, this is where you're at the beginning of the game, 3698, and so that is a really, really high number for a level 1 character, even though it's got a, you know, you're losing 22% of your damage because of the reductive multiplier. It's still a huge, crazy damage.
This map is for +10, but yay, you'd have +6 at Cathedral, so it doesn't take long for damage shenanigans.
Yeah, that's right. So 684, so that would be 342, you know, at 0, and so you'd be at 1849. So even at a +0, this would still be really, really high damage at that point in the game when you pick up a weapon. And if you don't have Flashing Fang, because you're just going for, you know, regular damage, this is where here at the beginning of the game, when you have Adrenaline Overdrive, Louis, and then Louis' Overdrive, we could assume that, you know, that it would be like, you know, Final Journey instead of Overdrive or something like that, and because of the multiplier. And then we could stack on the elements, because the elements come pretty early, like fire and lightning come pretty early, and so those are pretty good values to have. So you get another 40% on this. I mean, your damage can get out of control pretty quickly during some level 1 stuff at the very beginning.
You can also get Flashing Fang after Oliver too.
That's right, but it's only for 1 hit, right? And so if we look at our halberds, the Sunset Halberd, its charge attack is 235%, so it's a 2.35 multiplier to the attack. So in the equation here, if you had Flashing Fang and you had 1849 times 2.35 times the elements, I mean, you could get close to like, you know, doing like 10,000 damage or so in 1 strike to like the butterfly, you know, right when you get there. So, but you don't have EO and gifted chromes at that point, but you could try for it, you know. So you could do some crazy shenanigans after you beat Oliver, and you could get some ridiculous damage very, very quick.
Ah, gotcha. You're purposely avoiding sway. Face green smiling.
Yeah. Well, I'm not purposely avoiding it, but but you can get the Zwei, super early as well. And that one would be 429. So if you put that in here at +0, I mean, that's at 2319. And then two-handed swords on the Zwei at charge attack is a 2.45 multiplier. So crazy.
Louis sells 2 flame cartridges for 3 gift points each. Pain.
Yeah, that's true. So you could get an extra 5% on there. So, I mean, the crazy thing is that you can start to see how once you understand how the gifting values work, and once you get all of these multipliers listed, you pretty much just plan out and pick what your build is for you before you even get to the fight, so you know exactly what you need to do. So if there was like a reason to do level 1 speed run or something like that, you could plan out what weapon to pick up when and where, and what actual builds to even build before you would even go to each of the fights, because we know the bosses, we know their defenses, we know their HP
They
values.
seem to be necessary for one-shotting the butterfly.
That's correct.
Hey Owen. Greater than look under a stone in vain, greater than it's another damage buff.
This AI voice reader thing is absolutely hilarious. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just how this game is built, and I love it because there's so much to investigate all the time. So alright, well, I think that's been plenty of fun for one day, as we've gone through a lot here. Sorry for the super big mistake early on with the multipliers, but we got it worked out. And for those that are in the Discord, I'll be sharing the spreadsheet, and then you guys can, it's in Excel, so it'll be coming through the translation of Google Drive, so it won't translate exactly. So make sure you download it to like your computer or something first, and then open it in Excel, and then you'll get all the native stuff. So
Game literally is built different.
yeah, that's
Hey
true.
Owen. I didn't think of Louis flame cartridge for butterfly at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, so the flame cartridge, it gets you, 5%, but because it's proccing her flame weakness, it gets you an extra bonus 10%
Hey,
because she's
Owen.
weak to fire.
Thanks for the stream, Owen. Had a nice dinner with it.
Oh, excellent.
Hey,
I'm glad.
Owen. Tie for the stream, Tilda.
You're welcome, guys. I had a lot of fun with you, and I'll be posting this in the Discord over the weekend here, and you guys can start messing around with it yourselves. And good luck, enjoy it, and we'll be messing around with some gifted things even later on, because there's still much more to investigate, like with bayonet shots, bayonet gifts, as well as some of the other multipliers in how they interact with the different weapons for gifting, because that is how you can start to tailor what build you want at level 1 to take on, max level difficulty. So level 1 max level difficulty is well within sight now. There's no reason why we can't do it, because we have all the damage necessary to get there.
Hey, Owen.
So
At Donkey Plays, yay, it lasts for a very short time, so it's only more relevant for one-shots.
yep, 6 seconds and it's over. So okay, well, thank you guys. You have a great day, great night, and we'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.